Hello and welcome back to the channel where I am going to be starting my Pittsburgh Pirates franchise mode. In this episode, we're going to be going over the roster that we have here in Pittsburgh, our expectations, and kind of our goals going forward. I already wrapped up spring training. We are here at opening day against the Cincinnati Reds. That'll be the next episode. Just a few more things to clarify. I am doing a 32 control team franchise mode. So in this game, there's still those weird and very, very bad trades that you'll see guys like Andrew Painter traded for a C potential guy. And you still see a lot of bad trades. So that's why I'm taking control of all 32 teams to reverse those trades and veto them. And definitely the free agency signings that you'll see. Like, I've done about 3 or 4 test runs of franchise mode, and I see that Oakland has signed Shohei Ohtani twice already in my franchise modes. They gave him like $35 million over 13 years or whatever. Oakland would never. So for stuff like that, I would veto that. And yeah, so in this episode, like I said, we're going to go over the basic roster that we have here. In the Major League roster, Brian Reynolds is our number one or our best player on the team. But he's definitely trade bait. Brian Reynolds is a guy that I'm looking to trade either at this year's deadline or in the offseason. He's already requested a trade, so I am going to stay true to that. I'm not going to say it's a different universe or whatever it is, but just for the sake of a rebuild, I am gonna trade him this year or in the off season for I would hope is a fairly decent package. He does have good value in this game. You'll see here he has fairly solid value. You just look at the prospects that you can get. You can get Jackson Holiday, you can get Colton Cowser, DL Hall, Kerstad. You can get a good return for Brian Reynolds. So he'll definitely be traded either at the deadline or in the offseason once again. David Bednar, our best pitcher on the roster, our closer. 82 overall, 28 years old. He's a guy where if he's putting up great numbers, I'll sell high, but I'm not going to trade him just to trade him. He's from here. I want to do decent by him at least. If he's a hometown boy, I want him to be here. But if he's at the trade deadline or in the offseason after this year, he has like a sub 1.5 ERA, 40 plus saves, and fairly good analytics, then I'll try and get the most I can for him. But if he's just kind of meddling around the 2.6, 2.2 ERA, stuff like that, I'll hold on to him because he's our best pitcher. No need to trade him when you still have him under control for the next 4 years. O'Neal Cruz, potential franchise player for us here at shortstop. He almost won Rookie of the Year last year, came onto the scene just pretty much out of nowhere, I'd say. He was a highly touted prospect, but when he came on, he made noise. He is extremely fast, has an insane arm, good power. He's durable, 24 years old, a potential shortstop. This guy is looking like he can be our number one guy. If I had to give a projection on him, I would say 35 plus home runs, 100 plus RBIs. And with that speed, you're hoping he can get 20 plus steals. But I won't hold that against him if he doesn't get that. Andrew McCutchen brought back Kutch for his twilight years. He's only going to be here for 1 year. I'm not going to bring him back. I don't know if I want to trade him. Might want to let him have a farewell tour here in Pittsburgh. But yeah, Andrew McCutchen is here. Ke'Bryan Hayes, another guy right now. I would say he's the face of the franchise. He has that platinum glove over there, 99 field, 88 reaction. He's an insane defender at the heart corner. If he can put together his power and some contact and his plate skills, this guy can be a 30-plus home run guy, 100-plus RBIs, an average of above 300, and OBP above 4, or above 350, excuse me. This guy can be one of the best players in the major leagues if he just puts it together. He is 26 years old, but he's on a great contract until the year 2030. So we're hopefully can take advantage of that cheap contract and grow him and develop him into being a star-studded player. Then we have a couple other guys: Jared Eichhoff, Mitch Keller in the rotation, Jack Sawinski, good power guy, Rodolfo Castro, a fairly decent second baseman in a crowded middle infield. Rich Hill, a guy that, unless he's putting up outstanding numbers by the trade deadline, I imagine he'll be here till year's end. Carlos Santana is a guy that will be traded this year at the deadline or earlier. JT Brubaker in the rotation. Underwood in the bullpen. Mark Mathias, another middle infielder. Vince Velasquez, another rotation guy. Ji-Won Bae, another middle infield guy. 23 years old, utility guy. He can play anywhere. He has good defensive stats. He's fast. If you can get that contact up, he'd be a good player, a good bench player. Miguel Andujar, kind of a reclamation project. If he can put together what he did in 2018 with the Yankees, he'll be a great trade chip in 2 years. Right now, he's just hoping to try and find that groove. Chase DeYoung, relief guy, lawn relief guy. Ji-Man Choi, brought in from the Rays this past offseason. First baseman, a guy that we could probably trade at the deadline. Kelvin Plawecki, Austin Hedges are the catchers. Will Crow, Colin Holderman are in the bullpen. Chris Owings, utility guy, will be on the bench. Stevenson, Moretta in the bullpen. Jose Hernandez is on the 60-day IL. Right now, as it stands, we don't have any lefties on the 26-man roster besides Rich Hill. So that's something I am going to be looking out for on the waiver wire and via trade. We do have Yarlin Garcia, but he did not have a good spring at all, so he's starting the year in AAA. Johan Oviedo is a young Cuban-born relief pitcher brought in from St. Louis last year. We'll see what he can do. I like his per nine stats. He has good velo. He has good break. Get his fastball up to 96, and then his slurve or slider down to 78 and 86. Johan Ramirez, he has good velocity and break. He's known to walk guys. He has good hits in K per nine. He's just got to kind of put it together in the minors. Caleb Smith is another lefty, but he's not on the 40-man. Henry Davis would be one of our top prospects. I believe he was the first overall pick a couple years ago by the Pirates. He is the catcher of the future as it stands right now, but he does have some work to do. I want him to get to be a better hitter, whether that be his plate skills or just his hitting skills. I like his fielding already. If he can get it up higher, that's great. If not, he needs to work on his hitting and plate skills. Eddie Rodriguez is another one who can be, 1B or 1A for us at catcher. Can also play corner outfield. Good, decent stats all around for 22 years old. See potential. It's looking like he'll be the backup catcher of the future. Mason Martin is a guy who, at 23 years old, 60 overall, could probably end up being the first baseman by year's end if we trade Santana and Choi. Second base, we have Tamar Johnson, our top prospect. 18 years old, A potential, 68 overall. Insane fielder already. If he can get those plate skills up, he'll be an excellent second baseman. Nick Gonzalez, another first-round pick of the Pirates. Middle infield, can play third, can play short. Kind of decent all-around, 23 years old. B potential, 66 overall. Has some work to do. Marcano, I'm not going to bother saying that first name. I'll butcher it. But another utility guy, can play basically anywhere in the infield and corner outfield. Good defense, fairly fast. Third base. Shortstop, Ji-Won Bae. I think we went over him. Liover Peguero, another prospect on the middle infield. Can play second and third. Decent speed, decent fielder. Like a lot of players on this roster. Got to work on their plate skills and hitting skills. Connor Joe, Corner infielder, first and third baseman. Good arm, decent fielder, decent hitting stats. He's not bad. He didn't have a good spring. That's why he's starting in AAA. Kenan Smith and Jigba. Corner outfielder slash first baseman. Bats left. Fairly decent all around. Got work to do. Center field, Travis Swaggerty, 25 years old. Came on the scene last year in 5 games. Only 9 at bats. He will be getting some time in the major leagues this year. Right field, we already went over Kutch. That's pretty much it. Cal Mitchell, Ryan Vilady are in the minors. And that is pretty much all I really wanted to talk about for the roster. Now, kind of the goals going forward. This year, especially, and probably next year, we are going to be bringing in guys, whether it be free agency or via trade, so we can ship them out and gain prospects at every position. I don't care if we already have a logjam that we already do, like in the middle infield. If you get good potential guys, we're going to get good potential guys to fill out this roster, and then comes year 3 and 4, we can mold it out, trade prospects for major league ready talent to fill out the holes on our roster. And then by years 4 and 5, hoping for that wild card spot. We could probably get there earlier, but really years 4 and 5, I expect this team to be within playoff contention. And then years 6, 7, 8, 9, I expect to be postseason bound year in and year out. But that's pretty much all I really wanted to talk about in this episode. We went over the roster, we went over our goals, and we went over what our plan is going forward. Bring in prospects to fill out the roster, then we can mold it out later. If we look at the depth chart for 2027, this is what it looks like. Oh, I forgot to go over the pitchers. Excuse me. I forgot to go over the pitchers. Roansy Contreras, 75 overall, 23 years old. Did not have a good spring. That's why he started in AAA. But he will pitch in the major leagues this year. Luis Ortiz, same thing. Did not have a good spring. Will pitch in the major leagues this year. Quinn Priester, probably is our second or third spot in the rotation in the future. Unless he really emerges and gets the potential up and puts up good numbers. 2 or 3 starter. Tanash Thompson, 4 or 5, our bullpen arm. 23 years old. He was fairly highly touted a couple years ago, but not so much anymore. All right, that's all. I just forgot those 2. So we're looking at the depth chart for 2027. This is what it looks like right now. Key Brian Hayes, O'Neill Cruz leading the way overall-wise. Termarr Johnson there as well. Then you have Roansy Contreras, Quinn Priester. Like 2027, he's only projected to be a 79 overall. That's probably a 4 or 5 spot starter unless he really puts up good numbers and grows and develops, which I imagine he will. This is just projected. I expect the overalls to be higher and more names and faces to be added. But as it stands right now, this is what we would have going forward. So that is going to wrap it up for this episode. In the next episode, we will play opening day against the Cincinnati Reds. It will be Mitch Keller versus Hunter Green. And yeah, guys, if you are excited to see the next episode, leave a like. If you want to see more MLB The Show franchise content, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next one.